Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing yet another album ranking. I know, it might be getting a bit tiring, but I still enjoy doing these, and after this one, and I'm planning to do a couple more. I'm already thinking Lamb of God and Five Finger Death Punch. Then I'll probably take a break from doing album rankings, because I've done quite a few. So, yeah, this video is about Behemoth, my personal favorite extreme metal band. I'm gonna turn down the music here. But yeah, awesome blackened death metal from good old Poland. And yeah, they've got 13 albums, and I feel like I know their discography well enough. I haven't heard everything. I mean, I've heard almost every song from all these albums, so I'll tell you the songs I'm not so fuzzy on, but yeah. I mean, I know these albums well enough to rank them, so let's start with the debut, Sventivith, Storming Near the Baltic. This is actually like I will say, like, I'm personally not a huge fan of like 90s black metal. Like I think almost all of it just sounds like complete ass, and the songwriting doesn't necessarily make up for it too much. But I like this album. I actually quite enjoy this album. It's pretty straightforward black metal, but it doesn't sound like complete ass. At least on the reissue of it, which came out last year. That's how I heard this album. So I don't know if they like remastered it or anything like that, or if that's just how it sounds. I'm not really sure. But yeah, obviously the classic song from this album is From the Pagan Vastlands, which has been remade and have like 8 million different fucking live versions. But yeah, I mean, I pretty much like all of these songs here. I like From the Pagan Vastlands. Chant of the Eastern Lands is cool. Hidden in a Fog, Entering the Faustian Soul, Wolves Got My Coffin. I like Hell Dwells in Ice too. There's actually a couple different versions. There's like the ambient kind of slower version, which is on the regular album, and then on the second disc there's a more like black metal kind of version. And I like that. I like both versions. They're both pretty neat, I must say. So I'm thinking for Sventivith, we're gonna go with B. It's solid. Solid debut. So now, next up we have Grom, which came out in 1996. I should add that Sventivith came out in 95. So yeah, Grom in 96, and I will say it's a bit of a step down. It's still not a bad album per se. There are plenty of moments that I like. My favorite song on the album is probably Spellcraft and Heathendom. Let me try to say that right. Spellcraft and Heathendom. There, that's better. It's probably my favorite song on the whole record. But I also like Rising Proudly Towards the Sky, The Dark Forest, Cast Me Your Spell. Dragon's Lair is neat too. The title track ain't too bad. Yeah, it's definitely very experimental, because there's a lot of there's keyboards, there's women singing, which is awesome, and it's definitely more aggressive, you know, because I feel like Storming Near the Baltic kind of had like this more atmospheric kind of black metal kind of vibe, but Grom is just all aggression pretty much throughout the entire runtime. So I mean, yeah, but it's still black metal and it still sounds like ass, so I think we're gonna go with the C. I don't think there's any albums that are deserving of a D tier, but just to have it look sort of clean, we're just gonna get rid of that. Okay, that looks a lot better. So, next record we have Pandemonic Incantations. Now, I must say that these next couple albums are not really anywhere on streaming services. Grom isn't. I had to listen to it through YouTube, through fan re-uploads on Last FM. That's how I listened to all these albums, so the listening experience wasn't quite what I would have wanted. But I gotta make do with what I got. I don't want to pay, $30 for a record, or possibly even more for a CD that's out of print. So, yeah, Pandemonic Incantations. This is the first album where they go really into the more black and death metal kind of thing, because like the first two albums were just straight up black metal, but now they're having more death metal influence. But this is still very much a black metal album, I would say. This one's cool too. I like The Thousand Plagues I Witness, Satan's Sword I Have Become. I like Driven by the Five-Winged Star. That's pretty cool. The Past is Like a Funeral. The other songs are fine. Nothing wrong with them. Just fine. There's really not much to say about them. So, but I will give Pandemonic Incantations a B. It's a pretty solid album. So now we've got Satanica, the album from 1999. Pandemonic Incantations came out in 98, by the way. So 99 saw the release of Satanica, and there's more death metal influence this time around. Because Pandemonic Incantations was more black metal, like I've been saying, but Satanica, there's more death metal off the blackened death metal kind of creeping in. And this album's also solid too. I like Decade of Therion. That's probably one of the better songs on the whole album. Lam, the Sermon to the Hypocrites, Star Spawn, Ceremony of Shiva. The chant for Eschaton, the version is alright. It's kind of weird. I'm so used to the version on the Eschaton EP that it just sounds weird in D standard. I'm used to it being played on like a 7-string. But yeah, the Satanica is a pretty solid album too, I would say. So I think we're gonna go with the B tier again. I don't know. We'll see. Might change this just to have be a bit more consistent. I don't know. Well, let's just keep going. So, 2000 saw the release of Thelema Point 6, and the song's pretty good. I like it. I like it a good bit. Obviously, there's some classic songs on this album, like Anti-Christian Phenomenon, Christians to the Lions. Those are like the two songs that get played a lot. But I like, as far as more underrated songs go, I like The Act of Rebellion. Inflamed with Rage is pretty good. I really like 23, the Youth Manifesto, which is like the last song on the album, technically, I think. I don't know. Every version I could find has a bunch of bonus tracks. So, yeah. I feel like kind of it starts out really well, but the second half kind of has just some more forgettable songs, in my opinion. But, yeah. Honestly, you could call this a death metal album, and I'd be fine with that, because there's not really a whole lot of black metal in this one. But, yeah, this one's good. I think I don't want to put another in a B tier, because I feel like that's too much. We'll bump it up to A for right now. But we'll see. We'll see how I feel at the end of this. So next up, we've got Zoskaya Cultus, and I feel like this is when BEHEMOTH are actually getting like really good, because this album is very, very nice. Horns of Baphomet is a great opener. I really like, even though I'm a bit tired of As Above, So Below now, just because I've heard it so many times, just casually listening to BEHEMOTH, it's still a good song. Pretty fun to play on guitar too, at least a little bit I know of it. Here and Beyond is a cool track, so is Zoskaya Cultus, the title track. No Sympathy for Fools has one of my favorite BEHEMOTH riffs ever. Actually, pretty much the entire beginning is one of my favorite Behemoth moments ever. I like Modern Iconoclasts, Blackest of the Black. Some of the rest of the other songs, Typhonian Soul Zodiac with a K, is decent too. Yeah, this album is pretty good. A couple of weak songs, but that's not bad. I have almost all these songs liked on my Spotify, so yeah, I think we're gonna put this in A. And also I should say after we put all the albums, then I'm gonna kind of more accurately rank them and how I would rank them in the tiers. We're just putting them in the tiers right now. So yeah. Next up, we've got our first S tier album, which is Demigod. There is not a bad song on this album, I will say. Even the more forgettable songs, I think, are pretty decent. I really like. I mean, obviously, the main songs everybody knows, like Demigod, Conquer All, Slave Shall Serve. Those songs are awesome. But I also really like the Nephilim Rising is a pretty cool track. Sculpting the Throne of Seth, The Reign of Shemzuhor, that's a pretty cool outro. Yeah, Demigod, great album. Again, more death metal leaning than what would be more, I guess, black and death metal, but I'm fine with it. So we've got The Apostasy next, from 2007, and this is another good album. Again, a lot of really good songs on this album, like Prometherion, At the Left Hand of God, the song that everybody knows from this album. I really like Inner Sanctum too. I feel like a lot of people don't really talk about that one. I like all the weird like vocals, samples, and all the weird stuff that doesn't have to do with Nurgle. I think that stuff is really cool. But yeah, Be Without Fear is pretty heavy. Pazuzu's kind of a weird song, but I'm fine with it. Christ Grinding Avenue is a pretty awesome outro. I feel like At the Left Hand of God would actually be a pretty good opener instead of the first two, Rome 64 CE and Slaying the Prophets of Iza, but that's just me. And I'm probably fucking butchering all these weird ass names for shit. I don't know. I'm not a Satanist, so I don't know this stuff. So yeah, another A tier album. Pretty solid. Honestly, Behemoth has a really good run of albums, I would say. And guess what? We have another A tier album with Evangelion. I already know this because I know this album pretty well. A Fire in the Void. That I feel like that's more than enough reason to have it be an S tier, but obviously there's other great songs like Alas Lord is Upon Me, Lucifer, Daimonos, The Seed of I. Yeah, just good album all around. I like this one. It's good. Now we got the most recent stuff, which yeah, it's great. But you didn't need me to tell you that. So I guess we'll just start with The Satanist. I mean, come on. Everybody knows that this album is fucking masterpiece. Just slaps. Just slaps. Nurgle made, obviously his bout with cancer, that was fucking terrible, and it resulted in him making one of the best metal albums ever made, at least of the past decade or so. Yeah, Blow Your Trumpets, Gabriel, or Pro Nobis Lucifer, Ben Sahar, The Satanist, O Father, O Satan, O Son. Yeah, and then Messe Noir too. Yeah, S tier. Don't need to explain a whole lot else. And hot take, but so is I Loved You at Your Darkest. While I think The Satanist is a great album, I think I like I Loved You at Your Darkest just a bit more. The reason for that is there's simply, all the tracks are great, but I Love Jerry Darkest has more of them, because the Satanist has 9 songs. Like, in general. Just no interludes, nothing like that. Just 9 really good songs. I Love Jerry Darkest has 12 songs. 2 of them are interludes. So that makes it 10 really great songs. So, yeah. But again, that's just my opinion. That's just how I feel about it. Really, really awesome album. This was the album that got me into the band, so yeah, I'm gonna like it a bit more than the others. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, though, honestly. But now we have the newest album, Opus Contra Naturam. Now, I like this album. It's good. It's very nice. I like it quite a bit. Not really a bad song on the album. Although I will say I could live without Post God Nirvana, because it's basically a glorified intro track. But all the actual songs on this album fucking slap. I mean, I love the kind of slow burn of My Herculean Exile. I think that, you know, it's not a super heavy, brutal song, but it just has that slow burn, just really atmospheric. I love it when Behemoth does that shit. I think they do it probably the best out of all the black metal bands that I know of, except maybe Darkthrone. But I don't know. The Deathless Sun is really great. Off to War. I really like Once Upon a Pale Horse. I don't think anybody talks about this song, and it's a shame because it's fucking awesome. It sounds so different, and I think that's why I like it so much. I like it when bands try. And of course, the same can be said about Versus Crisis, Thy Becoming Eternal, Malaria Vulgata. Also, my only complaint about the second song, Malaria Vulgata, is that it's only 2 minutes long. But yeah, it's good. I think I'm gonna put in A. So all right. So now that we have the albums in their spots, let's move them around. Let's move them around a bit. So yeah, we're gonna put. So just for anybody that's new or isn't familiar, I put the albums that I like the most closest to the actual letter, and then kind of just rank them like that. So like this is from best to worst. So I Love Jerry Darkest the most. I like Demigod the least in S tier. And so honestly, I think we're gonna move Thelema 6 down to B. And I think we're gonna move. I don't know. I'm thinking. I want to move another album down to C, but I'm torn between Pandemonic Incantations or Satanica. I don't know. I mean, none of these albums are really bad. I guess I can just leave it right now, but how am I ranking these? Yeah, Opus, and then Evangelion, and then yeah, that makes more sense. And then I guess we're gonna do that. Do I move Pandemonic Incantations over? Artificially extending the length of this video by umming and awing over it. But nah, we'll just leave it like it is. So yeah, that's about how I would rank Behemoth's albums. Again, this is just my opinion. You know, if you're a purist and loves only the first 2 albums and thinks the rest are shit, that's fine. If you love the absolute newest stuff and you think I'm an idiot for putting any of the 2000s era albums up here, that's fine too. Or if you just hate this band altogether, which honestly fair enough, I guess. But yeah, I think this is how I'm comfortable with ranking them. So just as a quick refresher, S tier we've got I Love Jerry Darkest, The Satanist, and Demigod. A tier we've got Opus Contra Naturam, which is the newest album. Evangelion, here is Zoskaya Cultus / Here and Beyond. It has like 2 names. The Apostasy in A. In B we've got Thelema 0.6, Saventivith, Storming Near the Baltic, Satanica, and Pandemonic Incantations. And then in C tier, we've got Grom. Yeah. I think that's how I would rank all of Behemoth's albums. And, yeah, that's about it. See ya.